Hello, my name is Tendai Manombo, and this is IN4, your weekly news in 4 minutes. The abuse of public funds in Zimbabwe persists despite a wealth of legal, regulatory, and institutional frameworks established to foster prudent public finance management. In May 2021, the Auditor General released the 2020 Special Audit Report on COVID-19, which unearthed gross mismanagement and abuse of COVID-19 earmarked resources by government ministries, departments, and agencies. However, to date, no action has been taken by the government to prosecute those implicated in the exposed scandals and ensure that they pay back. The public questions why those implicated seem to be immune to the governance frameworks of the day. Not only did COVID-19 exacerbate poverty and inequalities, it further entrenched corruption and inefficiency in the management of public resources, resulting in poor service delivery. The pandemic has also exposed underfunding and magnified the dilapidated health, education, and social safety nets in Zimbabwe. Therefore, oversight institutions like Parliament must take an active role in scrutinizing how public resources are expended to plug resource leakages, abuse, and misuse. The Minister of Finance and Economic Development, through the Financial Adjustment Act of 2022, is seeking condonation for unauthorized expenditure incurred by line ministries amounting to 6,783,930,028 Zim dollars in 2019 and 100,690,788,418 Zim dollars in 2020. The condonation bill comes 2 years after the over-expenditure were incurred, a violation of the Constitution which directs the Minister of Finance to seek condonation from Parliament within 60 days of establishing the excessive expenditure. This distorts the authenticity and sincerity of budgetary processes. The excess expenditure is not explained with respect to the use of the resources, and the time frame in which these excess expenditures happened was associated with meager civil servant salaries and protracted industrial action, which led to the crippling of the health and education sectors. For the same period, the finance minister declared budget surpluses, which now do not make sense given the condonation bill. It is therefore imperative for the government to adhere to constitutionalism regarding the management of state resources. Extreme poverty has reached astronomical levels, with more than half of the population failing to afford basic commodities. While the government continues to attribute some of the increases in basic commodities entirely to the Russia-Ukraine war, the justification of this assertion remains questionable given the fact that before the war, basic commodities were already a luxury, thus becoming privileges of the minority. Access to basic service delivery such as healthcare, education, and clean water has remained the biggest challenge that Zimbabweans continue to face. This can be evidenced by the Hauna District Hospital in Mutasa North. The hospital has 1 doctor and 1 ambulance, which is not in perfect condition, yet it services a catchment area of approximately 40,000 people. The demand for healthcare in the district clearly shows a great imbalance between demand and service provision. The inflation hitting the nation has not made things easy for many, as education is also out of reach for many children. The failure of over 30,000 students to register for ZimSec in 2021 attests to the verdict that education has become a privilege reserved for the elite. The prices of basics like bread and cooking oil are going up, yet salaries of civil servants have not gone up. At the same time, the mass urban transport system has failed to culminate in the partial reintroduction of private players, which has brought negligible change to the transport crisis, a crisis which is worsened by the increase in fuel price. All in all, the Zimbabwean crisis continues to grow while the government gives a blind eye under the guise of stable fundamentals and economics of algorithms that entrenches inequality and poverty. This brings us to the end of our bulletin. Please join us once again next week.